Hello everyone and welcome to the JPEC Effect, where we sit down and talk with student entrepreneurs that are making waves in the real world.
I have a roommate who snores all the time.
Mouth tape is really huge, so I don't know if you want to like politely suggest that.
Because no matter how many books you read, podcasts you listen to, there's nothing that's going to beat firsthand experience.
Honestly, my brain, I feel like I live in a little bit of a delusion land sometimes. I feel like nothing is truly ever a failure.
Welcome to the JPEC Effect, where today we are joined by Dana Rupe. She is the new director of the John Pappajohn Entrepreneurial Center, but she just started in June, and welcome to the JPEC Effect.
Thanks, I'm happy to be here.
I have some bullet points that I've gathered together of it says online about you. I just want to run this by you and see what you know about yourself, but So I read that you grew up from a very small town in Iowa. Is that true?
I did. It's a small rural town in south central Iowa called Eddyville. I think there were 42 people in my graduating class. And we are one of those towns, as they call them in Iowa, that did not have a stoplight in our town. So that gives you the size of it.
Yeah. And then I guess a big thing before now is that you have founded your own women's athleisure line, Alex and Abby. I think it's going on, 10 years now?
Yeah, a little under 10 years.
Yeah. And then was it before that or after that you did Valley Apparel and Adidas?
That was before. That was one of my first entrepreneurial ventures of actually having ownership and being a co-founder of a business. So it was a really exciting venture for me.
And that was Valley Apparel. That was your first.
It was.
How did you get into that? I was reading all your bio and stuff, and it looked like you have a real interest in sports and in clothing, but also marketing. I'm really curious. Is there anything specifically that created this interest, or has it just been something that you stumbled upon and decided you really enjoyed?
A little bit of both. My college degrees are in textiles and apparel. So I have an undergrad and a master's degree in that area, and have been working in industry doing apparel product development and design, and ended up taking a job in Cedar Rapids for a company that was doing products for the brand Starter. So today you see that brand in Walmart. It's a very large brand. Then it was one of the premier outfitters of sports leagues and colleges. So they were doing apparel for the NFL, Major League Baseball, different colleges, and they had a satellite facility in Cedar Rapids. So I took a job there, and fortunately or unfortunately, Starter went bankrupt. So I lost my job, but a group of us decided to purchase the Cedar Rapids facility out of bankruptcy and start our own company. So that was the first company that I helped co-found. And we were really lucky that we immediately went out and got a license with Adidas and started doing all of their sportswear for NFL, professional leagues, the Olympics, as well as their collegiate properties. So I kind of fell into the entrepreneur side of the business, but stayed in this athletic, activewear kind of realm. And then as a co-founder, you end up wearing a lot of other hats besides just apparel product development. So then at that venture, I became in charge of marketing and sales and creative graphics. And so it really kind of grew my professional purview of looking at all of these other functions within a company that I was responsible for. So that was really my first sort of entrepreneurial venture.
So we've talked a little bit about you got all your undergrad stuff in textiles and marketing a little bit. I'm so curious. There's a huge overlying sports thing. Did you play any sports in your childhood, or did you watch a bunch of stuff on the TV?
Well, you may not be able to see, but I am very small.
Me too.
And then, as I mentioned, I grew up in a little bitty town, so I actually played a lot of sports in high school just because there was no one else. So we needed to make a team, and so I got to play. I actually played basketball, and I was tall. So I did play sports and have been active, but certainly not in college. I think I fell into the sportswear apparel category because coming out of college, I was really interested in technical fabrics. There was a lot of really interesting science going on in textile development. And that's really when, now we are all used to wearing things that have stretch and they wick and, they keep you warm, they keep you cool. They have all of these performance properties. And when I came out of college, a lot of that science was just starting. So I was really interested in activewear from the science development and technical aspect of the fabrics. And so that's kind of how I started in that product category. And then I became just so interested in outfitting these athletes and what they needed for different sports and how patterns and garments, the construction of them really lend to a better performance. So it just kind of snowballed from there, and then was really lucky to work for these big powerhouse brands like Adidas and some of these world-class athletes.
This is just purely out of my own curiosity. Are there any like athletes that like we would know that you like worked with during that time with Adidas?
We did, one of our biggest campaigns was doing throwback jerseys. So this was a time when kind of these oversized jerseys were coming, and it was a real streetwear kind of vibe going on. And we went and started signing all of these historical athletes, and as opposed to doing their professional jersey, we started doing their college, or some of the athletes didn't even go to college, they got drafted right out of high school, and so we were doing high school jerseys. So we had signed, there were a couple hundred, Dennis Rodman, Dan Marino, Elway, Montana. Magic Johnson actually was on our board of directors. So we got to spend a lot of time with him, and fun side story. When we first launched this throwback jersey collection, we did a launch party in Santa Monica and had a red carpet, because he's obviously an LA Laker and has ties to the Lakers. Lakers cheerleaders were there. We knew Kobe Bryant, and Missy Elliott had just won a VMA. She came to the party. Oh, wow. So it was just this crazy experience. Magic Johnson, as I said, ended up being on our board of directors. So he got all of his friends to come to this party. So, as we keep going back to coming from Iowa with the class of 42, and all of a sudden I'm in Santa Monica with the Lakers and Magic Johnson. So through that project, I got to work with a lot of athletes. Then we also worked with whoever Adidas had signed at the moment. So they had Tracy McGrady, and Tiger was at Nike, so they were always trying to find their version of Tiger Woods, to go back and forth. So yes, to your point. We also worked with the Bulls when they were doing their 5-peat and were running all of their championships. So we worked with the Bulls. We were a team sponsor of the Patriots when Brady was there, and they were on the run with all of their wins. So it was a really heady time in my career. There were lots of these sports athletes and celebrity sightings. But that also can be very difficult to manage those personalities and outfit them.
There's a bunch of campaigns, and you worked a lot with product development. I'm curious about like creative side, like what does the process of like pitching that idea of like, this is what we need a campaign for this. Like, is there a research conversation, or is it like, does someone pitch an idea and then everyone's just like, we like that? Or I'm curious what the process is to like, from like inception to getting those campaigns like up and running.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
In the apparel industry, we have 4 seasons a year roughly of how many different lines we're releasing, kind of a spring, summer, fall, winter campaign. So you're always in various stages with each campaign. So for example, right now we're shipping fall merchandise to our customers. We've already designed a winter collection, and it's being produced at factories, about to hit stores, so for holiday sales. Now we're in the middle of kind of mapping out what spring 2026 is going to look like, and what those garments designs should be, what kind of color palettes we need. So, if you're in the apparel industry, your brain is always somewhere on the spectrum of all of these different lines you have. But when you're starting a season, you're really looking at, okay, what worked last year? What were some of our top sellers? What did our customers like? Then you're thinking about new trends, which is everybody's crystal ball. What's going to be popular in 4 to 6 months? What's going on in the world and pop culture and politics, travel, food, music, and you're trying to think about all of these outside influences swirling around that somehow you can boil it down and here's a shirt that reflects that in 4 to 6 months. So it's a pretty intensive process. Once you actually kind of have a sketch or design in your head, then you have to find a factory to work with, get some prototypes and samples made. Then you take those prototypes and you fit it on a real body. What needs to be changed about the pattern? You know, the sleeve is too long or the cut's too this, and so you keep tweaking that till you get a sample that you like. Then you place a bulk order with the factory. Our products are typically made in Southeast Asia. So factory makes it, gets on a boat, takes a month to get here, clears customs, and then you hope to ship it to your customer. So it's a pretty long process from kind of that first glimmer of idea till it actually shows up, you know, on your shelf so you can ship it to a customer.
Yeah. Sounds like it's a huge like team effort.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hands that have to touch it throughout the process to make it happen.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit more about Alex and Abby, which is your women's athleisure line. So you said that came after Adidas. Is this more of like, was this your like idea, or did someone else come to you for this? Or
throughout almost my entire career prior to Alex and Abby, I had been working under a licensing arrangement where I'm making products for another brand or the NFL. And so that can be good and bad. It's good that it's Adidas, it's the NFL. Everybody knows it. You don't have to do a lot of marketing. It sells itself. And so you rely on the power of the brand to really market it for you. You know, the con to that is you don't necessarily have as much creative freedom. You know, they get final say on all of your designs and ideas and where you can sell it and how much you can price it for. So after this career of making products for everybody else's brand, we kind of decided, you know what, we know enough, we have learned this. E-commerce was really taking off, which made a little lower barrier of entry, made it a little easier to enter the market. So we thought we would launch our own line. So that's when we started Alex and Abby. It's an e-commerce line only. We sell it on Amazon and our own website and a few other sites. And, you know, kind of trying to take this decades of this performance apparel and fabrics and interpreting that into everyday life for the everyday person.
yeah, and it's doing really well from what I've heard.
Well,
So
knock on wood.
congratulations with that. So we talked a little bit about what you did in the past, which was Adidas. You're still doing Alex and Abby right now, and now this past June you were just named as the head of the John Pappajohn Entrepreneurial Center here at the University of Iowa. I'm curious, what was it about this entrepreneurial center that, like, what were you drawn to taking up this position? Because it's a really cool position.
It is a cool position. There's another thing that was a little bit kismet. I had been teaching one course in the spring semester, social media marketing in fashion, here in the journalism and communications department, and had really been enjoying that and was thinking about picking up another class. So I was trying to think about what topics I could present that I could teach another class on, and kind of ran through things. You know, journalism and communications isn't my first background. So then when I was coming up with class ideas, they were all a little more business slanted. And I thought, well, okay, maybe I should go over to the business college and see if I could pick up a class there. Then that led me to thinking more about entrepreneurialism and would a class there make more sense? And I just kept going down this rabbit hole. And eventually I ended up putting together like a 15-page magnus opus of all these AI ideas I had about classes or programs that I could be a part of, and started talking to JPEC, to the executive director. And again, you know, as luck would have it, about 2 weeks later, this position opened up. My predecessor had been in the role for 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
And she was retiring. And so then I was like, well, should I just apply for this position and do all of those ideas I had as the director, as opposed to someone, an adjunct or someone from the outside? And here I am, just, you know, was meant to be.
Yeah, I love how you brought up the whole thing about ideas because I feel like the pitch for JPEC is that if you have an idea, let us help you achieve that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm really curious now that you've taken on this role as the director of the JPEC, what do you mentioned those ideas that you came up with. I'm curious what a couple of them are, if you have a couple goals for what you see the future of the JPEC looking like.
I think there's just, and now I thought this prior to me getting the role, and now that I'm in it, I think it even more. There's just so much opportunity for us. I think it's such an easier time to be an entrepreneur because of the tools. Like I said, I think AI opens up opportunities for the solopreneur, as we call it. You know, you really can be someone sitting in your dorm room or in your basement, and you can create a website by yourself. You don't need a team of people. You know, you can sell online. You don't need your own big warehouse and the sales team canvassing the country. You can do your own social media marketing. You don't need a marketing team. So I think that all of these tools at our disposal just open up so many more opportunities. And again, for a solopreneur, or if you're looking to build and scale, you can test ideas less expensively. You know, it used to be even more expensive to fail, but now you can test and then change, iterate continuously. And so like I said, I was excited before I came into the role, and now I'm even more excited to help provide people who have ideas, or maybe they're just thinking about entrepreneurialism, with this sort of toolkit of tools to help them test, get there faster, build, scale, you know, explore. And so I think it's a really exciting time to be in this entrepreneurial space, particularly on a university. You know, here we have a really strong history of research. We've got a lot of researchers on campus, and there are ways to help them commercialize their work and let their work see the light of the day that we can help them with. So it's a good time to be there.
Yeah, definitely. I know you already kind of mentioned, but I was wondering if you can go into a little bit more detail about what things does JPEC, like what kind of resources does JPEC offer if someone were to come with an idea?
Sure. So we serve a really broad spectrum of the entrepreneurial community. If you're an undergrad here, we have academics. So there are a couple of different majors in entrepreneurialism. There's certificates that you could take in entrepreneurialism, or just take a class to explore it. Or if you really have an idea and you're interested in founding a company, we have an incubator lab for undergrads. So students go there, they get mentors, they get structured classroom training, they get technical resources, a physical space to be together. We offer grad students that. We offer the community at large, or residents of Iowa, different workshops and programming. So we have Venture School, where if you are a community entrepreneur, you come for an 8-week course. You learn in the classroom, but then you have accessibility to all of these mentors who are industry experts, who have founded their own companies or in different disciplines, that you can go to for help. We have that same program via an NSF grant, which has a more science related group. And these people have specific industry expert. This is where a lot of our researchers go. Then we have business consulting, where you could just come to us with a specific problem for your startup, and we'll find a mentor who is in your space or who has knowledge. Maybe you have a marketing problem or an accounting problem, and we match you up with somebody to help you work through that. So we offer such a broad variety of resources to a broad audience. We also do actually primary education. So we are out doing workshops and curriculum for K through 12 students to try to introduce them to problem solving skills and just that entrepreneurial mindset early, and get them hooked, and then up through whatever age you want to start a business.
Yeah. I think that's so cool. I feel like that outreach, especially to like the younger generation, is really, really important, especially like getting like, you know, ideas start really young. Like you want to get your mind and like creative juices flowing early, so that like, you know, you want to dream big. And then
Absolutely.
It sounds like JPEC is there to like have resources to help you achieve those goals.
Yeah, there's an interesting stat that shows that by the time young people are in 8th grade, they've decided what they're capable of. So if you are somebody who thinks, well, I'm just not good at math, that's just not my thing, or I just can't do this, you decide that so early. So we're really trying to get out there in these schools and give young people this mindset of exploration, innovation, that you can do it and it feels good and it's interesting and it's rewarding, and just trying to make sure we open up their minds to whatever possibility, just like you said, whatever your dreams are. It is possible, and you shouldn't be deciding that by 8th grade.
Yeah. Okay, we got 2 questions.
One of them is kind of backtracking.
Okay.
So it's on the failure side,
Yes.
how important is failure to entrepreneurship?
Okay.
I think it's very important. You have to fail up, and you got to fail fast. You learn so much in your failures, not only just whatever the specific issue was, but on how you deal with it. Because it's going to happen. You're going to have hard conversations. You're going to go through hard times. And one of the best characteristics of a successful entrepreneur is your grit and your resilience. So it's good to do that early and to then know that you can learn from that, you can pivot, and you can keep going. So I would say fail fast and then fail up.
Yeah.
And then the second question is kind of off that as well. We're speaking about dreams. What was your dream when you were young?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and how has that dream changed or shaped to your future and today?
Great question. So a couple answers depending on how young is young. Growing up, I was very into apparel and fashion. I remember 7th grade for Christmas, I wanted a Vogue magazine subscription. And then I got that every year since, and I would keep them pristine and row them up. In my little class of 42, I was voted best dressed. Not that hard, not that high a bar, but I'm just saying it kind of preempted what I went on to. But then when I was in college, I loved academics. I loved being in college. I loved being on a college campus. And my goal at that point was to be a professor. So when I finished my undergrad, I thought, I was going to go on, get my master's, and realize that my favorite professors were those that had industry experience. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go work 3 years, 5 years, then I'll come back and get my PhD and then be on the tenure track, be a professor. And then within the first 2 years of working, I had this opportunity to found a company, and then it just kept going and going. So now come full circle, a couple of years ago, I decided, look, if I'm ever going to do this teaching thing, I got to get on this and explore it. So started teaching a class, and then now here I am on campus, and come full circle. So I feel pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's so important that you saw an opportunity and you're like, I'm going to take this, instead of being like, this is my very strict line of this is what I'm going to do, which I think is really important to be adaptable and take those opportunities when they do come.
I think you have to. There's so many opportunities, and I don't think 25 years ago I could have predicted all of the changes and all of the things that would happen. So I think you have to really remain open to where the road takes you.
Definitely.
One more actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Clay's got all the questions.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people at this age, we're adhering to people that are our age, are in sort of that midlife crisis, even I don't know what I want to do next, or they don't know what is next. How important do you think it is, for them wanting to be an entrepreneur? What, I guess, advice do you have for them? If they have this idea, but they don't know, some people are going to med school and they have done this their whole life, but they have this idea. How important do you think it is to chase that dream, or if that makes sense? Does that make sense?
Chase the dream, or follow the path that you've been working towards. Or...
Luckily, I don't think there's a wrong answer or a choice for that. I think at any point on the journey, you can pivot and make a different decision. And whatever you have learned, you're going to be able to take whatever you have learned and take something from that to apply. So I think people get really hung up on, thinking I'm at the fork of the road and there's only 2 things and one is right and one is wrong. And I don't think there is a wrong answer a lot of the time. So I think my advice would be, I wouldn't worry so much about, okay, am I going to be an entrepreneur, or am I going to be a doctor for 40 years, or I think you can be both or neither or all of them. And I think you just have to, whatever it is you do it well. And for better or worse, I feel like any of these choices, at the end of the day, it's about the people you're around. That is going to decide whether you're happy or not. And what you're doing is who you're spending your time with every day. You can work for, your dream job of Adidas or Nike, but if you're working around people that it's just not clicking with you, not good. So I think you shouldn't stress so much about this path or that path. I think just whatever you choose, go for it. But then don't be afraid to make a pivot. Doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Yeah.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great answer. All right, so we have, to end our little show here, we have our thing that I think we kind of teased it. It's on the wall over here. So
Oh no.
So first of all, we forgot.
Thank God I didn't say like I was good at anything.
Yeah,
Right?
you said sports. You have interest in
I
sports.
do.
So instead of bringing a ball for this, which we forgot, we kind of improvised, which I talked about is really important. And Clayton, you wanna make this? Yeah. He wrote a little, made a little.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We
So
should do a special.
yeah.
We'll do a close up to
We
the
can.
camera. Just for me. Special guest. All right.
All right. And then to close us out,
Yeah.
we want you to take that one shot.
What
to
are the
this-
rules? Like
Honest-
I have to Caitlin Clark it, or like
You're like, yeah, we have to take a 3-point
You're right,
over
I
there.
have to go in the corner. Or...
No, I think right there. Yeah, you can make it as cool or as
Oh, now the pressure.
as
Uncool.
as uncool
well.
or as
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
all right. Good
This
luck.
one's for the money. Here we go.
No, we'll give you
Zephyr.
another try. We'll give you another try.
Oh, we're gonna have to edit this 20 times
no,
now
it's
until
fine.
I
It's
get
fine.
it
It's
right.
fine. Oh no!
Rim shot.
We're getting close.
Okay, one more, and then I will just dunk it and be done with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you were so close.
Okay. The only time I can
Yay! All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you for joining us on the JPEC Effect.
My pleasure. Thanks for
Yeah.
listening to my story.
Yeah, thank you.